let's keep rolling here. We've got 2 Monday Night Football games. We're going to start with the Jets and the Dolphins. I will shut up for a second and let Brandon talk to give some bets, and then I will give you some thoughts myself. Brandon, Jets, Dolphins. Can't believe we're watching this one in primetime.
This game stinks. Like this game is not. This is not fun. These are my 27th and 28th power rated teams. They're almost dead even on my chart. So I think this line is basically about right. Somehow we're in a world that the Dolphins, who cannot get off the field or fire the coach fast enough, are favored, and then still favored next week against the Panthers also. Correctly so, I think. It's crazy that the Dolphins keep being favorites. So couple stats if you want a trend to bet on. If you want to bet on Miami, here's one. 8 of 10 games against the Jets, the Dolphins have won, including they've won 9 in a row against the Jets in Miami. So there's your Miami trend. If you want to bet against Miami, here's your trend. Week 4 over the last decade, the Dolphins are 0-10 ATS, 0-10 straight up. Does that mean anything? Absolutely not. But there's your trend if you want to bet them. Here's my bet. I'm going to take the under. Under 45.5 at DraftKings. Primetime unders, not counting Thursday games. Since 2019, 61%, 17% ROI. We know about the primetime unders. Monday night unders in division games, 57% ATS. Not ATS, obviously, but 57% of the under over the last couple of decades. And then Nick Giffen in the luck rankings has this as a strong luck under also. These defenses have allowed 190 points. So it doesn't seem like you want an under. That should be more like an expected 166 points. So I think that's kind of baked in here. We're getting some variance on the number as well at books. I see 45, 44, 44 and a half. Those numbers are kind of right in the range where they matter too. So that's it for me on this one. Just give me an under, and hopefully I can ignore it as much as possible.
Yeah, I'll do the Brandon, and I'll give you one good stat and one bad stat. So the good Tua is he's 5-0 straight up against the Jets in his career as a starter, winning by 14.2 points per game. Ridiculous. He's beaten 4 different Jets quarterbacks, which is actually pretty funny. Flacco, Zach Wilson, Rodgers, and Tim Boyle. An amazing trio there. Or I'm sorry, 4 quarterbacks. But the other stat that's ridiculous, so dating back to 2019, we talked about this last week. Jets and Giants 1-16 straight up on the road in prime time. So that now travels down to Miami. 1-16 feels fake. And the other angle, which I'm actually going to take an actionable angle on. So Miami is 0-3 second half ATS this year. I feel like a Miami first half Jets full game is an interesting angle to take in a lower scoring game. Maybe you get 13-10 going to the half or something like that, and then you can have it flipped. So I think that's one interesting angle. I had a difficult time trying to come up with too much official play actionable here. The 2 rushing plays I thought were intriguing. Malik Washington over 6.5 rushing yards. I wanted it a little shorter because I feel like that could come down to 1 rush, but I think he gets there. And Ollie Gordon, I saw the low line at 20.5. Other books getting to 23 and 24. So thought that was an interesting snipe. This was a special. I was curious about your thought on this. Special on DraftKings, which is, I think this is a decent matchup for Garrett Wilson, and I think this is a time where Tyreek could get some work. So they have these specials of 5 yards and 10 yards in each quarter for both guys, 14-1 at 5 and 50-1 at 10. I feel like this is a game where some of those guys might get some work. I got one more bet, but what's your thought there?
Yeah, I get suckered into those every game or every quarter type bets, and the problem is just it's you're parlaying you're parlaying 8 outcomes. You're parlaying Correct. 4 quarters for each guys, and it just seems like, oh, it's only 5 yards. How hard can it be? But for starters, it's at least 4 catches, 1 in each quarter. So just that alone, it's a fun bet. It's a fun bet that you can bet a couple bucks on. It's not a bet that you should expect to cash for you. There's a reason those are available at every book every time, but they're fun. They're fun to root for, and you're probably just going to get 1 quarter that screws you, but it's a fun one to have on a game that's not fun in any other way. So
I'll say this, the reason I like it, and this is the bet I think that's more actionable and better, is I like Garrett Wilson. He's -110, and I like Breece Hall plus 225 to get a catch on the first Jets drive. Garrett Wilson this year, 10 targets in the first quarter, which is, top 8 or so in the NFL. And Brees went 2 for 2 on target receptions versus Tampa Bay last week. So I feel like the Jets might come out a little aggressive, a little different, especially with Fields starting. I think those guys getting reset. I think the way I would do it is like half unit on Garrett, quarter unit on Brees, and you end up cashing with either. Something of that nature would be the way I would play it.
Yeah, I mean, you did better than I did. I came up with an under, so
I tried.
I wore my Dolphins shirt. It's the best I can do for this game.
Don't worry, I have a little bit less on the next one. All right, so Cincinnati and Denver is the second Monday Night Football game. Right now, that line is 7.5 for Denver, 44.5. I said it earlier, but Denver is 0-3 against the spread, the last undefeated or winless ATS team so far this season. I feel like the stat you almost have to continue to say when it comes to Zach Taylor: 45, 32, and 1 straight up with Burrow, 8 and 23 when he doesn't have Burrow under center. Obviously, 7.5 points, a lot different than the straight up line here. But what are your thoughts on this matchup? Because I only have like 1 or 2 bets.
Yeah, I just think 7.5 is too much respect for Denver. That's going off of last year's Denver respect, and I don't know that they have earned that this year. So I'm going to take the Bengals just in a buy low spot. You can't get much uglier than what the Bengals did last week. They are bottom 3 in offensive DVOA coming this weekend. Offense, passing and rushing, bottom 3. The line is terrible. Chase Brown for the season, 47 rushes for 93 yards. What in the world? Like, that has been a disaster. But Denver, not really that overwhelming. Like, outside top 10 passing and running on defense. This was supposed to be everyone's number 1 defense. I was skeptical, and I don't think that they've been anything close to that this year. Bo Nix was last among all qualified quarterbacks in the PFF grade coming this weekend as well. So I don't really know what Denver has done to earn the respect of being over a touchdown favorite. And historically, when the Bengals or any team play as bad as they did last week, that's usually a good time to buy low on them. So just a couple trends here. Week 3 or later, underdogs that are coming off a loss of 35 or more points, which the Bengals sure as heck are, 69% cover rate in that following game. You're inflating the line, and that's what's happening here past the key number. Road teams off a 24-point loss against the spread, 62% ATS the following week. Teams that have won 60% or more of their games, which the Bengals have right now, coming off a 20-point loss or worse, 64% ATS. And that one, just road teams, 40, 13, and 1 ATS, 76% hit rate. I don't think those trends are totally fair, because they're assuming the Bengals are actually good in that last one, which we know they're not really a 2-1 team without Joe Burrow. But it's just a lot of trends that tell me the same thing. Buy low on a team that really can't be as bad as it looked last week. So I'm not super excited about either one of these games in the doubleheader. These are probably like half unit plays for me. I'm not like jumping all in on these, but I do think buy a little spot on the Bengals, just coming off an awful game where it's got to get better.
Yeah, this one's tough. I have Bengals tracked in the app, actually, at 7.5. I like that number. You said every reason why I feel like that number is a little inflated, even with Jake Browning back there. And it's going to be tough to watch, but it is what it is. So that's one of my bets. I think the other bet, and I feel like we're all on this from Kerner, but he likes Tanner Hudson score a touchdown as a long shot in this one. No Noah Fant on Cincinnati's side. Gesicki, obviously the man, but Hudson kind of moves into that role, and we love ourselves a backup tight end almost in any scenario. So that feels like the right move to me. I'll probably sprinkle on first team touchdown, which is going to be shorter than first touchdown, because I just want that sucker to kind of live for a quarter or so. So we will see how that goes. If you want to tail some of the bets that we gave out today for Monday night's game, make sure to look for the quick slip link in the podcast video description, or go to actionhour.com/bet now. You can also find those quick slips in the live YouTube chat if you're still hanging out with us.